Landon was never the kind of man to pause when someone stared too long. But that afternoon, in the sun-drenched marble lobby of the Wilshire Trust Building, when the janitor quiet frail nameless froze mid-step, his gaze locked on the side of Landon's neck, everything shifted. Not with drama, with silence. The kind of silence that coils in your spine. The kind of silence where something ancient stirs beneath your skin before your mind can name it. The man didn't blink, didn't breathe, didn't even move his mop. Just stood there, eyes glassy and unblinking, staring at the birthmark just under Landon's left ear, a dark, asymmetric spiral, barely the size of a dime. Forgotten since childhood. Then the janitor whispered the words that cracked the room open. Asterisk, sir, that birthmark. My father had the same. Asterisk, no one else heard it. Not the assistant in heels tapping past. Not the security guard who'd just buzzed open the glass doors. Just Landon. Like the sentence had been carved directly into his brain. That's when it began. Not with a scream or some grand, Hollywood-style collapse, but with Landon blinking. Once, in finding the janitor gone, no trace, no footsteps, no mop, no uniform, just a small puddle on the polished floor that somehow hadn't dried, even by the time the sun had dipped behind the skyscrapers. You're not hearing this from a news anchor. This isn't in any article, any police report, any boardroom memo. This was never filed. I was there. I saw his face change. I watched his hand rise instinctively to his neck, fingertips grazing that mark like it had just appeared. And I know what you're thinking. So what? People vanish. People have birthmarks. Coincidence is the coward's way out. But that night, when Landon was home, alone, in his glass and steel high-rise above Los Angeles, he poured a drink, sat back, and asked his phone to play musicsomething.com. Instead, the voice of a man long dead came through. A name, Elijah, spoken in a tone no digital assistant was ever programmed to mimic. The same name his mother used to whisper in her sleep when she thought no one could hear. The name that was never in any family tree. This isn't a ghost story. It's not about hunt. It's about something worse, something that lives in our DNA. In the memories no one talks about, in the lies families keep buried for decades. And it started the moment a man vanished after whispering a truth Landon had never dared to consider. Asterisk, what if the man who raised you wasn't the man who made you? The real question isn't who Landon is, it's why asterisk someone hid it. And what happens when that truth wakes up? The next morning, Landon's penthouse door was found wide open. Coffee still warm, lights still on. Security footage gone. Only one frame survived. Landon staring at the mirror, not blinking, his mouth open, and on his neck, the birthmark pulsing. I've seen it, I shouldn't have. But now that you have, too, tell me asterisk, have you checked your own skin lately? Asterisk, Landon didn't sleep that night. Not in the traditional sense. His body rested motionless in the sleek, cold silence of his penthouse, but his mind spun in jagged, erratic loops. The image of himself, frozen in that final frame from the corrupted security footage, wouldn't stop replaying in his head. The pulsing birthmark. The expression that didn't feel like his. Like something was wearing his face. Mimicking his gestures. Holding itself just barely wrong. He didn't remember standing in front of the mirror. Didn't remember the door, left open. Didn't remember anything between the name Elijah and the moment the morning light sliced across the kitchen tile like a surgical knife. And when he reached for his phone, there was a voice memo. Time-stamped at 3:17 a.m., he hadn't recorded anything. The title was blank. He hit play first. Silence. Then a soft, wet dragging sound, like something heavy being pulled across glass. Then asterisk, don't look for what we buried. You don't have the spine for it. Asterisk, a click. Then static. He dropped the phone. By the time he dared to pick it up again, the file was gone. Not just deleted, unlisted. Even in his backup folders, there was no trace, no metadata. Like it had never existed, but something did exist. A new detail, small, obscene in its quiet certainty. His birthmark, it wasn't flat anymore. It had texture now. A slight rise in the skin, and when he touched it in the mirror, it twitched beneath his finger like a sleeping muscle. That's when he left the building. No jacket, no plan, just motion, concrete. The Los Angeles heat already blooming at his back. He walked through streets that somehow looked unfamiliar, like someone had tilted the world slightly while he wasn't looking. Signs he swore had different fonts. Buildings one story too tall. People brushing past him but never quite looking at him, like they were following a script he didn't know he was in. It wasn't until he reached a rust-colored diner near Weston Avenue that his legs gave out. He didn't remember choosing. The place didn't remember crossing that part of town. But the door chimed and he found himself inside. Cool air, flickering light bulbs, the hum of an old refrigeration unit somewhere in back. And one other person seated at the counter. Was maybe late 30s, with an overgrown pixie cut and tired green eyes. She didn't look at him when he slid into the booth across from her, just kept stirring her coffee in slow, deliberate circles, the spoon scraping ceramic. Over and over. You're touching it too much, she said. He flinched. What? She nodded to his hand. still on his neck, on the mark. They don't like that, makes them hungry. Landon stared. She finally turned toward him, and that's when he saw it. On her wrist, a perfect mirror of his birthmark. The same spiral. Only, hers was older, faded, and scarred at the edges, like it had been cut out once and grew back without permission. Who are you? I'm no one, she said. Like you were supposed to be. He wanted to leave, wanted to run, but her tone wasn't menacing. It was worse, it was bored. Like this wasn't a new conversation. Like she'd been having it for years with ghosts who never stayed long. I saw something, he said, or I didn't, I don't know. Someone vanished. And then, they don't vanish, she interrupted, leaning closer. They just get rewritten. Landon shook his head. What the hell does that even mean? She slid something across the table. An old cassette tape, no label, no case. A cheap, clear, plastic shell. His name was scratched into the back with a penknife. Play it somewhere analog. No wireless, no signal. If you stream it, they'll know. If you digitize it, they'll hear. This is the only copy left. He blinked. I never told you my name. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. That's the part they always forget. And then the diner lights flickered. Once, twice, she was gone. Not walked away. Gone. Like static between TV frames. 1 second presence. The next absence. He looked around. Waitress behind the counter. Teenager eating fries. No one seemed surprised. No one seemed to remember she'd even been there. And when he asked, the waitress just looked confused and said, Sir, you've been sitting alone since you came in. He left without eating. Tape clutched in his fist. Back in the penthouse, Landon did what anyone would do. He questioned everything. He pulled out his old stereo system, one he hadn't used in over a decade, and powered it up. Tape in. Static, then a voice, not hers. His. A younger version of his own voice, panicked, whispering, she told me they weren't human, that they wore us, that we're just shells, memory shells, and when they're done feeding, they erase us. Like we never existed. I found the others. The ones with marks. I know I'm not supposed to remember, but the tape warbled. Then another voice layered underneath. Lower. Wet. Asterisk smiling. Asterisk asterisk you never existed. Landon. Asterisk he stopped the tape. Hands trembling, his birth certificate missing, childhood photos, suddenly, digital static. His mother's voice on voicemail. Gone. Replaced with a system error. This wasn't paranoia. It was erasure. The second voice on the tape had called him by name. But not with contempt. With ownership. The tape hissed one last time before the stereo shut off by itself. That night, Landon found scratches on the inside of his closet door. Dozens. Hundreds. All spirals. Carved deep into the wood from the inside. And he didn't remember making them. He barely remembered childhood anymore. Only fragments. A green curtain. A woman screaming from behind a wall. A birthday cake with 6 candles. And a man standing. Too far in the background. Face blurred like the camera was afraid to focus. He started recording everything. Audio logs. Video. He lined his walls with printouts. Drew red lines between memories that contradicted each other. In one video from last week, he clearly says his father died in 2006. In a second video from the same day, same shirt, same lighting, he says 2002. His hands don't match in the 2 recordings. In one, a scar that doesn't exist in real life. In the other, his voice echoes slightly wrong. He begins to lose time. 4 hours gone, then 8, then a full day. He wakes up in places he doesn't remember traveling to. One night, the side of the freeway. Another, the roof of his own building, barefoot and staring at the stars, whispering in a language he doesn't know, and every time, the birthmark has changed. Grown, he tries to contact the woman from the diner. Plays the security footage backward. Frame dash by dash frame dot. She never existed, but someone keeps leaving cassette tapes on his doorstep. No return address. Just audio of himself. Saying things he doesn't remember ever speaking. Describing dreams he's never had. Referencing names that send chills down his spine. On the 6th tape, the voice finally changes. It's hers again. Softer this time. More desperate. Asterisk if you're still listening. They haven't replaced you yet, but they're close. They feed on fractured memory. On disbelief. That's why the truth feels insane. Because it's the only way they survive, making you believe you're the problem. That it's mental, that you're breaking down. You're not. They are, and they know it. That's why they're rushing now. Landon sobs that night, not because he's afraid he's losing his mind, but because what if he's not? Asterisk, what if the glitch in the voice assistant, the vanishing janitor, the identical birthmark, the memories that shift when you try to pin them down? What if all of it is a warning system? What if trauma wasn't the cause, but the last defense? The final audio tape arrives in a plain manila envelope. This one is different. The label reads, "Do not listen if you want to stay." He plays it anyway. It's only 6 seconds long. Asterisk, we are already behind your eyes. Asterisk, and when he looks in the mirror, his reflection doesn't blink, but he does. And just like that, the tape recorder starts recording on its own. Not playing, recording, as if something new just woke up in the room. And Landon, he's no longer sure if he's the one hearing the voice, or the one speaking it. The tape recorder was still running when Landon opened his eyes the next morning. Though he didn't remember falling asleep, the light in the room was wrong against a warm, to golden, the hue of memory rather than present time. For a moment, he felt a soft stillness, the kind that tricks the mind into thinking everything might make sense again. That maybe it had all been a breakdown, a stretch of sleepless days and fractured mental noise. The glitch in the mirror, the vanished janitor, the tapes. Maybe his subconscious had finally collapsed under the weight of a lifetime he never really understood. Maybe this was his mind stitching itself back together in mercy. Then the recorder clicked. Off by itself. He didn't press a button, but something in him was done running. He started digging, not metaphorically, literally. A few hours later, Landon stood in front of a boarded-up house 2 towns over, address scribbled in red pen on the back of one of the cassette tapes. No GPS had brought him here. No map listed the street anymore. But it was the same house from the dream. He didn't remember having a 2-story relic with blistered siding and a porch light still wired to flicker. He didn't know why, but as soon as he stepped onto the porch, he whispered "I'm sorry." To no one. To something. The door was already open. Inside, furniture covered in white sheets, dust so thick it silenced his steps. The air carried that strange hush of untouched memory, the silence of a room left behind on purpose. There were drawings on the wall, crayon spirals, black, red, then black again. A child's voice, faint and repetitive, echoing like a forgotten lullaby through the rooms. Though he couldn't tell if it was outside or inside him. Don't let them in. Don't let them in. Don't let them in. He followed the voice to a trapdoor in the kitchen floor, and there, beneath 6 inches of soil in the crawlspace, Landon found a metal box, burned at the corners, warped by heat, but still sealed. Inside, photos, of himself, but younger, maybe 8, maybe 9, and next to him a girl, pale skin, dark hair, a locket in her hand. They were holding hands in every photo, always in front of the same crooked tree. She was never smiling, neither was he. There were dozens of them, hundreds, and he didn't remember a single one. At the bottom of the boxer, name, written in childlike scrawl, Marin. He repeated it, quiet, disbelieving, and something shifted in the house. The lights buzzed, the walls seemed to tighten, dust lifted off the floor like breath drawn inward. Then a thought landed, full body into his skull. She was real. The mystery, it seemed, was no longer about him. It was about her. Who was Marin? Where had she gone? And why had they tried to erase her? That night, Landon tore through every government archive, missing persons report, and psychiatric file he could access under burner names and backdoor credentials. She didn't exist in any national database, but someone had gone through great effort to make sure of that. Every time he searched for Marin plus Spyro plus child plus disappearance, his browser crashed. Once, his screen showed a black background, with a single message before rebooting itself, the body forgets what the mind can't bury. But he didn't stop, because he knew now that it was never about a glitch, or madness, or delusion. It was about removal. Systematic, surgical, precise. Someone or something had carved Marin out of the narrative, not because she was dangerous, but because she remembered, and just as Landon thought he'd found the truth, he received a package. No name, no return address. Inside, a VHS tape, written on it in thick, oil-smudged marker, Marin's last session. He tracked down an old TV with a built-in VCR and pushed it in with shaking hands. At first, static. Then a therapist's office, bland, dimly lit. A girl maybe tensed stiff in the chair. Black hair, pale face, locket around her neck. It's her. The therapist speaks in a soothing voice. Marin, what happens when you sleep? The girl doesn't blink. They come into the mirror. Who? She tilts her head. You know who? The therapist scribbles something. And what do they want? Marin's voice lowers. To wear us, to be us. Because they forgot what it feels like. And the spiral, her hand lifts slowly, points to the mark beneath her left ear, the same one Landon has. They put it here so they can find their way back in. The therapist leans forward. Back into what? Marin. The girl looks directly into the camera. Back into you. Then, the screen glitches, and what appears next stops Landon's breath cold. The next frame, another session. But the girl is older. Not 10. Maybe 30. Same hair. Same locket. Same face, and sitting across from her Landon. Except, it isn't. It's someone with his face, but the eyes are wrong. Too smooth, too calm, like a costume that's grown used to wearing itself. The footage cuts abruptly. The tape ejects itself, and Landon's phone rings. Unknown caller, he answers. A voice, almost metallic, says, you're facing the wrong direction. The mirrors, behind you, he turns slowly. But it's too late. In the reflection. He's not alone. There's someone standing directly behind him. But when he spins, nothing. He turns back. The reflection is still there, smiling, and it isn't him. He smashes the mirror, but the image lingers in the shards. That night, he dreams for the first time in weeks. A forest, rain-soaked, he's standing under a crooked tree. The same one. From the photos, Marin is there. Locket in her palm. She reaches out to him. I tried to stay, she whispers. But they said, I remembered too much. Then her skin cracks like porcelain. And something beneath starts pushing out. Like she was never meant to be whole. Landon wakes up screaming. The spiral on his neck is now the size of a quarter. Raised warm, pulsing, but this time there's blood underneath the skin, swirling, like something is watching from the inside. Then on his wall drawn in red, though he doesn't remember writing it. Asterisk, asterisk, you never found me. You found what they left behind. Asterisk, asterisk, and in the corner of the room, the old recorder turns on again. It plays the first message from the janitor. But this time, there's one more line tacked on at the end. Asterisk, asterisk, that mark isn't yours. Landon, you were born without it. Asterisk, 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 we gave it to you when he left. Asterisk, asterisk, the story you've been watching wasn't about a man uncovering a mystery. It was about something else using the mystery to enter. And now, the question isn't whether Landon's real. The question is asterisk, asterisk, when did you start forgetting Marin? Asterisk, asterisk, and who's wearing you when you dream? Landon wasn't the first. He was just the first one we saw. The realization didn't come in some cinematic crescendo. No screaming headlines or broken news alerts. It arrived in fragments, the kind that flicker in the margins of old photographs. In the gaps of speech when someone pauses too long, it came through sound, not just any sound, but the low magnetic hum under the static of dead stations. When your thumb spins a radio dial just past the edge of what should be there. It came in whispers inside voicemail boxes with no calls received, in comments on videos that vanish before you can refresh the page. The signs weren't loud. They were consistent, and they always said the same thing. Asterisk, asterisk, he's not alone. Asterisk, asterisk, it started with a scar. Not Landon's. Nurse in Oregon reached out through a dead thread on an abandoned forum. The kind you only find if you type with 2 fingers and a cold sweat dripping down your back. She uploaded a photo of her wrist, next to an old photo of her mother's wrist. The same spiral, same shape, same tissue-raising twist like something tried to press through. No caption, just a title. Asterisk, asterisk, this didn't start with us. Asterisk, asterisk, the post was deleted. Didn't matter if they'd followed Landon's story, they knew her. They had all seen the crooked tree before. They had all heard the dripping sound beneath the crawlspace. And when they looked at their reflections the next morning, none of them blinked right on the first try. This is the part the government never released, the part not even classified. Files can contain because how do you redact asterisk shared dreams? Asterisk, how do you black out a frequency that plays in the back of your skull when you close your eyes? There were symbols, next they started small. Spirals carved into frost on windows in Minnesota. Appearing overnight, drawn in chalk on sidewalks in Philadelphia always, erased by city workers before noon. Scratched into the wood of park benches, etched into train station walls. Always the same twist, always angled left, always pulsing when viewed in peripheral vision. Then came the footage. We don't know who uploaded it first. It appeared under a throwaway YouTube channel called Unlooped, a 7-second grainy black and white clip titled simply, asterisk, asterisk, found footage from 20 years ago. Asterisk, asterisk, a girl, maybe 9, sits cross-legged on a basement floor, humming a tune no one recognizes. She's surrounded by mirrors, all of them cracked, all of them reflecting something different. In one, she's older. In another, she's asleep. In the third, her mouth moves but the humming doesn't stop. At second 6, she stops and stares directly into the lens. Then she says it. Asterisk, they're not inside you yet, but they're close. Asterisk, the video ends, and then the user vanishes. No uploads, no comments. Channel gone. But not before 600 people downloaded the clip. Not before 12 of them dreamed about the room that night. Not before one of them found the mirror from the footage buried in a junk shop in Maine. Cracked the exact same way. This is where the third voice enters. The observer, they never gave a name, only coordinates, burned into old library index cards, left in returned books, across state lines. A trail, a breadcrumb path, full of dead phone booths and defunct area codes. But if you followed it, if you truly listened, you reached the message. Left behind at a gas station in rural Nevada, typed on a receipt, pinned under a rock. The paper was scorched at the edges, the ink slightly smeared, but readable. Asterisk. Asterisk, you were right all along. It wasn't a glitch, it was a test. Asterisk, 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 Landon wasn't supposed to wake up. Marin wasn't supposed to speak. We weren't supposed to watch. Asterisk, 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 but now we've seen too much. Asterisk, asterisk, that was the day we realized. Asterisk, this story wasn't his. Asterisk, it was ours. Because the symbols started changing. No longer just spirals, now they're pairing. Spiral plus number, spiral plus name, appearing in people's homes. In browser history, In sleep apps recording at 3:17 a.m. And sometimes when you pause a certain frame in Landon's mirror footage, your own name flickers in the corner. Just once, but we've seen it, so has someone else. There's a pattern. Those who see their name on the tape disappear from digital existence within 36 hours. Emails dead. GPS signals drop. Facial recognition ceases to match. One even had his driver's license reject his photo, the DMV saying, asterisk, asterisk, that person no longer exists. In our records, asterisk, asterisk, the spiral doesn't erase you. It replaces you, bit by bit. Memory by memory. Not all at once, but slowly until your reflection finishes learning how to be you without flinching. There's one final layer, one detail that shatters the illusion of progress, that proves this isn't the end, but a deeper descent. A screenshot from Landon's VHS frame 237, slowed to 0.1 speed, the reflection of the room behind him. Only this time, it's your room, your wallpaper, you're in the background, blurred watching him, and you don't remember filming it, but your hand is holding the camera. We don't know who started the recording, but we know who finishes it, and now. The question isn't whether Landon was being watched, it's this, asterisk, asterisk, how long have you been the observer? Asterisk, asterisk, and what happens when the reflection starts asking questions you can't answer? Because if the spiral marks the way in, then the footage is the way back. But only for those who remember what they made. You forget, and you're remembering now, aren't you?